not an endorsement now. If you send a sponsorship,
if you're looking. When you talk about not having fear and loving yourself, we went to a Christian HBCU together and saw each other through a number of transitions. One of which being for you is, how you identify sexually. And I saw pressures being put on you, and you kind of going through like, well, what is God saying? What is this? Well, what will people think? And all of this. And yet, now I feel like you're in a space where there's an honesty about where you are. Can you describe that transition of how you feel like fear played a role at that time prior and where you are now, and why?
To be honest, a lot of my conviction was never from the Holy Spirit. A lot of the things that I felt convicted by were what people were instilling in me, and so I had to pull myself out of that and become one with who God has called me to be. And so what I have done is I have opened every piece of me up. So to be clear, to state it clearly, I am an openly LGBT gospel artist. And I say openly for a very clear reason, not to cast aspersions or throw shade on anybody.
I'll do that later. Go ahead.
But because I believe it is important for people to see everybody embracing God in their truth, for where their truth is. And that's where I am.
I remember the conversation we had. I know where I was driving. I was on Independence in Chicago, and you called me, and you were like, I need to tell you something. And we had known each other for years, and there have been times where you're like, okay, I'm this, and I'm bisexual, and then I'm straight, and then, we had gone through that. And you were like, Sharona, I love you. And, I know our history, I know what, we've both been taught with the church and everything, but I need to be real with you because of the way I love you, of where I am right now. And I remember hearing the love that you had, but also like this trepidation, this like shakiness. And I think that told me more than anything of how, one, I was just honored that you would share, but two, how the church has not been a safe space for people to say where they are. And we don't know how to deal with it, so much so that you could call one of your best friends and not know if at the end of this conversation you're going to be there. And so, I told you I am, I'm just broken by how what the church has done. Even before this interview, you have people, for me, it's like, well, does that go with your brand? And does that, first of all, transparency always goes with my brand. Secondly, half the people you work with, if you're in any industry creatively, are of the LGBTQIA community, whether they say it or not.
Right.
I said, so to what you're asking is, am I comfortable with this person living in the light about where they are, as opposed to all these people who are in darkness, married, doing all of this, that we all know, but that will get on stage and say one thing. And so I'm just glad that our friendship has endured. I'm glad that you're willing to be open, regardless of what people say, regardless of what they think, because we need more honesty. We need more conversations. We need more people to stop lying.
Listen, okay, so, and not to be super, but I have some of those scriptures that used to be cliche to me have become so very real. I believe all things work together for the good. And that literally means all of my experiences. I've had certain experience as a Black queer man that enables me to reach people, to love people, to give to people in a way that I would never have been able to give had I had a different life experience. And I'm sure we could go into all the theology. I can debate theology all day, but that's not the point of the matter is, if we truly believe that we are liberated by love, and that we are free, that we are no longer under the law of love, right? Then what truly matters, if we love people will then be transformed into whatever God called them to be anyway.
That's it. I think we take on, like, I told someone today, I said, if you're going into a relationship with somebody thinking about how they need to be changed, you're wrong. You won't be able to love them. You've got to trust God to be powerful enough to do whatever he wants to do.
Yes.
My goal is to live my life in such a way and to love God in such a way that you're like, I want to know him, whoever that is. And then I trust him so much that whatever he needs to do, he'll do. That takes such a burden off of everything. And I get to experience you and celebrate everything that is you as God does whatever it is he wants to do. And I don't get to say what God should